Hey guys, happy Self-Love Saturday! Whoop, whoop. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about this awesome list that I found on Instagram and I posted about a week ago. And the list is called 8 Ways to Declutter Your Mind. I read this list and I just loved it because I honestly felt like this is a list of what it is to love yourself. I just truly, everything on there is stuff that I have spoken to you guys about before, and just things that I really do believe in, and it just was perfect. It was to a T. So I wanted to talk to you guys about this list and remind you of all of these steps and how important they are to self-love. So the first one is accept what is. That's for sure the first step to self-love, is accepting who you are, where you are, what you're doing, what your life is, all of it. Accepting it, not worrying about what you wish it was and all of that kind of stuff, but just truly accepting it. I think acceptance also makes you feel happier because you're no longer stressing about stuff that are so out of your control. You're just kind of being in the moment and being present. I think being present is so important. It's something that I have constantly had to work on because I'm just a natural daydreamer. I'm always in the past or in the future. And I have to work constantly on just being in my present moment and being very happy in that moment. And accepting what was around me and who I was at the time, at the beginning of my self-love journey, was just so important for starting it. So accept what is. That's key, number one step to self-love. Then be kind to yourself. Oh my gosh. This is so hard for people to do. Remember the video where I told you guys, like, when you look at a picture of yourself, find 5 things that you like instead of 5 things that you don't like? Like, we just are not kind to ourselves. We don't have patience with ourselves. We're just, for whatever reason, we're our own worst critic. And it is so important with self-love to start to just be nicer to who you are. Love yourself truly, wholly, everything about who you are, and compliment yourself sometimes. Wake up in the morning and say that you're beautiful, say that you're amazing. Whatever it is, just be kinder to yourself. This is so important. Number 3, release your guilt and fears. Hello, son, okay? So important, so important. This is the list. Remember the list that I told you guys about to do? On one list, write down your fears, your insecurities, your worries, your guilt, all of that kind of stuff. And then on another piece of paper, write down all of your solutions to this type of thing. Like, how are you gonna get over some of these fears? And how are you gonna get over this anxiety? Then take that negative list, rip it up, keep the positive list, and keep it up on your wall. Mine is still on my wall. I do not take it down from my wall so that I can read it on a regular basis. This is so important. Once you do this, it just takes so much weight off of your shoulders, and it really helps with your confidence. When I did that, let me tell you, I was feeling like I was some kind of superhero, okay? I just felt so confident that, like, I just had figured out some kind of world mystery for myself. Like, you have figured out how to get over all of the things that were holding you back. Like, it's so important. Release your guilt and fears. So important. So please, if you haven't done this list, I highly recommend that you do, in order to help you release some of your fears and some of your insecurities and your guilt. It just is the easiest thing to do. Let go of control. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let go of control is also a very hard one for people to do. I had to learn this, that I have to just accept what is in my control and not worry so much about the things that are not in my control. That was just a big one for me to do, especially being an entertainer. In this entertainment industry, there are so many things that are out of my control. There are just so many other people involved that, you know, control whether something works for me or doesn't. And this just was something that was so frustrating for me career-wise and in my whole life. And I had to accept what is more in my control and let go of the things that are not in my control and stop worrying about it. What is in my control is how I feel, how I look, my talents, how much I work on them and how good they are or how not good they are. All of those type of things are in my control. And so that's what I put my focus and my energy into, instead of worrying all the time about the things that are not in my control. So letting go of control has just been a big step for me in my career, for sure, and definitely in my self-love journey. Number 5, visualize what is important to you. If you do not have a vision board with all of your stuff up on your wall. What are you doing? Okay, you need this kind of stuff. You need this constant reminders, whether it's on your phone or it's on your wall or I don't know, it's in your car somewhere, whatever. But it needs to be constantly in front of you, constantly on your mind. How am I gonna get to these things that I want? These are my dreams. This is what I am after. And it will inspire you. It will inspire you on a daily basis to work hard because this is your dreams. This is your visions. These are the things that are so important to you. So visualizing what is important to you, oh my gosh, key to growth, to challenging yourself, to all of that. Number 6, focus on your life energy force. I think this is so important. Focusing on what your purpose is in this world. Leading a life of purpose, and also the kind of energy that you bring forth. When somebody meets you, what are they getting? When you walk into a room, what kind of energy are you bringing? What kind of person are you really? Like, you know, that's kind of somebody's first impression when they first meet you. What do they get? What comes off of you? We've all had that experience when we meet somebody and the energy they give off is maybe really negative, or it's sad, or it's just like, it's, you know, it's in a funk. I'm sure if you were to tell that person, they'd probably be in denial. But you know, once you start to work on yourself and really focus on just what it is that you are giving off, everything changes. People interact with you in a whole other way because you're giving off that kind of energy. So I think that is so important, you know, like your life energy force, your purpose, and the energy that you give off when you walk into a room, when you meet people for the first time is key. And it really does start to come once you accept and love yourself and feel better about yourself, and you're just overall happier. Everything starts to change and your energy starts to change, and it's just very, very good. Number 7, allow yourself to be vulnerable. This is so important, especially if you're an artist. If you're an artist watching this is so important to be vulnerable. I think artists we're just naturally vulnerable all the time. But you want to live your life and look back on it and be like, you know what? I went hard. I went so hard. I loved hard. I laughed hard. I was sad really hard. Like all of it. Just let your emotions be whatever they are. Do not be ashamed of them. Just be whoever you are. I love hard, okay? I'm not even gonna pretend that I don't love hard. I love really hard. The people in my life that I love them hard, and I am okay with it because it's just who I am. I am okay with that vulnerability. I'm okay with, you know, knowing that there's a risk. I could have my heart broken. I could not. You know, things could just affect me in a whole other kind of way. That's just life, though. And I would never close off that kind of vulnerability because it helps me in everything that I do. And I think it truly just makes me a better person because I am capable of being vulnerable and I'm okay with it. And number 8, find what doesn't serve you or interest you and let it go. That one is very simple and people talk about it all the time. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but it's very important. You know, the things that just aren't doing it for you anymore, let them go and be okay with letting them go. It may take you a while, it might hurt, it might all of that kind of stuff, but it's gonna serve you a lot more in the future, and it's just gonna be better for you to let it go. So this is this list that I found on Instagram and I love so much that I posted it, and as soon as I read it, I was like, I'm gonna do a video on this because it is awesome. It's called 8 Ways to Declutter Your Mind, but honestly, this is 8 ways to love yourself. So if you guys are not taking any of these steps yet, please do. Please do some of these things in order to love yourself and to just go forward in your self-love journey. Hope you guys are doing well. Bye!